Everyone, welcome to my redstone world. Today I have a completely automatic railroad junction for a network of 15 minecart stations, which will route your minecart train with no human interaction at all. The junction is not connected to any other junction or any sort of central hub and will not become desynced with the outside world as it resets for every new train of minecarts, so it's basically self-fixing. So overall, very good if you want to build this, if you need some sort of fancy rail network for a server or just for multiplayer use. Of course, single player is also great, although you do need a small amount of redstone related resources to do this. So obviously the system needs information about your destination to route your train, and that's encoded by the signal strength of this hopper minecart over here. This hopper minecart precedes your payload of players and villagers and items and whatever. This is called the handshake hopper minecart, or at least I call it that because it basically communicates with the system in the same way of a network handshake. So your destination is encoded by the fullness of this hopper minecart, which automatically restricts the number of possible stations to 15. But you can't just measure signal strength because the system has no way to tell if it's measuring the hopper minecart with the actual info or the payload behind it. So we have to detect the hopper minecart by the presence of cauldrons. The presence of cauldrons is sufficient. The other items can be whatever you want. You can see here that there's also a cauldron filter, which basically detects the handshake minecart. Of course, this also means that the payload must never contain cauldrons. Of course, in survival, your special item can be rotten flesh, which is far more economical, and furthermore, most people don't really need to transport rotten flesh. Now, the way this works is that minecart networks are usually trees. You can see a simple schematic here. And trees have this very weird property. You can number the stations here in a certain order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if you select this junction, notice this way goes to stations 1, 2, this way goes to stations 8, 9, 10, and this way goes to 3, 5, 4, 6, 7. All we need is to check that 6 is between 3 and 7. So if you tell the junction to lead you to station 6, for example, all we need to do is to check that 6 is between 3 and 7 and switch junction to the left. The observation that each branch leads to stations with a continuous range of values is true for every single junction. Like for example, this one below here leads to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Of course, we're doing mod 11 here. The 11 and 1 are the same. And we can get such interesting ordering of junctions by just going to the nearest unnumbered station. So for example, if 1 is here, then 2 is here, then 3 is here, then 4 is here, 5, 6, 7, where the distance between any two adjacent points is considered to be 1. Now, let's go back to this physical apparatus. And, let's try sending over this minecart with a signal strength of 4. Now let's send it off. As you can see, it was routed correctly. And this rail here actually changed. But I'll confess that some of you might not have noticed that, so we're just going to send this thing back and re-demonstrate for everyone how it works. And by the way, these sticks of wool are measuring bars. The contraption is 6 by 12 by 4 approximately, but it's only for this third anyway. The full size would be about 500 or so blocks in total volume, and this is not particularly volume efficient. So I hope everyone saw that. Yeah, if not, you're dumb. So how do we build this? Well, I can't say that this is very simple, because it's not. So first of all, we are going to build the item sorter and then the item returner. And yes, we do have to, if you think about it, we kind of have to return the cauldron or rotten flesh after the item filter collects it, because otherwise your item filter is first of all slowly going to clog up with items. Second of all, your minecart is slowly going to lose items. So of course that's not convenient at all. So what you want is a hopper facing. So assuming you're traveling in that direction, you want to start with a hopper here pointing in that direction, and then you want a hopper over here to return the item at the next block, and then you want this hopper here leading into this hopper. Now let's go to the back. We now require a piston. And now I want you to put a piston below here, so that this piston can actually lift the hopper into this position, or it can drop the hopper into this position, so it can actually collect an item from the item filter hopper. Now at the same time, we're going to put a redstone torch like so, which will both lock this hopper and also power this piston. Now we build our little sorting system. So we want to measure this thing so we'll measure the signal like so. Then some block, then three pieces of redstone dust to allow it to decay. Now, when I say, and now this is why we have to measure the signal strength through a block. So we are going to be locking this hopper with this detector rail, because this is supposed to prevent minecarts from going backwards and then changing this junction here, as in you do not want a minecart to be driving from here to here and then down here, and then as it passes over, it inadvertently sets the junction to some random value. And yeah, now we have the actual so-called meat, or not meat. Now we are going to build the thing. Now we're going to build a simple contraption that will calculate whether a number is or is not in a range. So we want 2 comparators, subtract mode, actually not in subtract mode. So you want these 2 comparators. So you want these 2 comparators not in subtract mode. You want this comparator facing into this one, and then this comparator facing into this one. Now, here you can either whoops. Oh no. Now, okay, so, I was actually going to build another version of this thing, but we're not. We're going to follow this design because it's slightly prettier. At the end, the product is slightly prettier. Now, the output of this comparator directly goes into this block, and then this redstone is inverted instead, and this basically allows us to detect when stuff happens, and then we have this funny thing that's actually customizable in the sense that in the sense that depending on how it's constructed, you will need to flip the torch over to this side, by which I mean like this, and then make this side the repeater side. Cool. Okay, cool. Like so. Now, by the way, this is supposed to be a build along. So, be aware of that. Okay, there are some weird absurdities in design over there. Now what we're going to do is that we currently have now these two actually have to be in subtract mode. So currently what we have is we have this circuit here which can calculate whether a number is in a range or not. And then we have this part which, and then we have both this thing and its inverse, and then we have a redstone torch locking both signals, controlling both signals. Now, you want to go back to the item sorter circuit right now. Now branch out like this, so that these two are basically the same piece of redstone. Now we're going to build a slightly famous thing. The dropper. And then finally we need to take out our hopper. And so. Wait a goddamn minute. Then finally, this after the T flip. And by the way, remember to change the T flip-flop. And remember to put an item in a T flip-flop. And then finally, we're going to turn it into a precision monostable circuit by insertion of a observer. So now we are able to administer a single pulse where these things are just unlocked. Now we need to get some building blocks back in the hotbar. Now, from now on, you can basically continue your redstone like so. Just make sure it's not more than 15 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks. Okay, that's kind of close, but we're already under here, so no worries. Now, obviously, to power this curved rail here, you can't really Now, obviously, to power the curved rail on top, you need a redstone torch directly below. Again, we have some hotbar issues. Some very serious fine motor skills issues. Now you need to build this big so-called multi-flip, this extra large RS knowledge. And to do that, all you need to do is to have several blocks in this sort of like 4x4 ring. And then you just put redstone torch, dust. This might actually need a target here. And then again, redstone torch, dust. Redstone torch, dust. Then redstone torch, dust. Then finally you just hook these up. And then finally you hook up these lines like so, and you're done. Or the redstone half. And you're also not perfectly done, because now you need to do a funny logic inversion thing. Now, say for example, I just want to build a clone of this. So this side is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this side is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 1. Now, obviously, this is the simpler range. Now, obviously, you want to pick the more continuous range because it's simpler. You can actually by modifying this calculator part, you can actually get it to check if it's bigger or 10 or smaller than 1. But it's just simpler to do it to be bigger than 4 and smaller than 9. So Okay, so for this part to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the rail must be this way. And the rail must be this way, which means we need to send, which means that when we send a pulse, this side has to be the one that's being pulsed. So this has to be on when it's detected, which means this has to be on when it's in the range. Which basically means, yeah, this is correct. Now, obviously, since this is an AND condition, this has to be, this redstone dust will be off, so this torch will be on, which satisfies this. So we are correct about this part, this inversion part. Then finally, we need to figure out. Now, of course, we have to put containers here. Okay, for this to be off, this has to be on, and that has to be off. This has to be on, that has to be off. Which means this thing should contain the larger number. For example, this thing now contains 48. Now this thing only contains the smaller number, which is 16. Now I say something about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you would have to put the amount of items corresponding to a signal strength of 9, which is 3 full stacks. By the way, all the item sorter and stuff are over here, so the things down here doesn't really matter. Finally, this thing, and this thing needs to have a signal strength of 3. So this is 9, this is 3. Okay. So that concludes the build along and also the explanation of how everything works. I guess I'll see you in the next video.